What's DYK? Sorry, bro. Guys, when you put like those letters, I don't understand them. I was in jail for a long time. So DYK, I don't know what that means. Oh, it was all. Did I send hefts? Are you talking about hooligan heft? If you're saying did I send him to protection? No, I didn't. That had nothing to do with me. He left off his own accord. Not to protection. I'm just saying like he left the pod off his own accord. I didn't say nothing to the bloke. I didn't even know the bloke was there. Yeah, what does DYK stand for? What'd you say?
Do you know?
Oh, do you know? Do you know? Okay, appreciate it. Do you know K-Dogs? Nah, sorry bro, I don't. Was he? Nah, that hooligan, if you're talking about that hooligan hef, only time he was there when I was in prison was when he was at Silverwater. He came in, he went to a pod 13, and pod 13 was OC pod, and I was in pod 10. And when that hooligan came in, he went there for one night and then disappeared. I never even knew nothing about it. I didn't even know this occurred. But on one of hooligan's songs on YouTube, on all the comments, all his OC mates started calling him a dog and a pussy for bailing from the pod. So no bloodline ever knew that hooligan hef bailed from the pod. It was his own boys that were belittling him. That's how we found out. And you know, like you can all sit there and think, oh, maybe Triggz is talking shit, maybe this didn't even happen. But I'm gonna tell you something. I was there in pod 10 when this happened. I actually didn't know what happened. I heard it from my guys because it was on comments, yeah. But I met guys that were in that pod that have good relationships, not only with OC, but also with the Bloodline boys, and they're also very well respected in prison. JM, appreciate you. I met probably about 6 or 7 guys that was in the pod when that hooligan bailed, yeah, from the pod. One of these guys' names is Matty Sales. Everyone knows Matty Sales from Mount Jewel. And even he said it. He goes, he was there as well when it happened. Like, hooligan actually thought that my brother and I were in the pod, but we weren't. We were in different pods. My brother was in pod 8, I was in pod 10. So yeah, he bailed for no reason. He was actually in his own boys' pod. Yes, I was with Michael Kanan in Supermax. Very good brother, I was with him. COTC, appreciate you. Yeah, Mick Kanan is a very good brother. I'll be telling stories of him coming soon. How much time did I do? Oh, bro, I'm just gonna embarrass myself if I say how much time I did, bro. Like, did 3.5 years straight, then I did 10 years straight, then I did 7 years straight. Literally nothing to be proud of. That's the reason why I got on this bloody shitty thing called TikTok. I got on here to tell my story with the hope that the younger generation learn from it. Because this life is exactly what I say it is. Rubbish. So I'm with Falaus. If you're talking about Nach and his brother Christian, yes, very good doggos, good brothers. Yeah, I did so much time for no reason, and that's why I get on this platform, because I don't want all these younger generation to do the time that I done, you know, for no reason. Ezra, appreciate you. It's nothing to be proud of. Thank you, Mosul. KVT, I don't know any of the KVT boys. I met Joe Fresh, and he was a very sincere guy when I met him, so I liked him. But I don't really know any of the KVT boys. I know their uncles. Yeah, I've answered that before. I was with Mick Kanan in Supermax, and he's a very good brother. You still go by BNS or just Bloodline? No, if you haven't watched my live, I left BNS back in 2002, my man. Did Mick? Oh, sorry, I missed it. Sorry, guys. Friggin' messages are going so quick. Do you have dramas with OC where? OC Perth? Right. There is no OCs in Perth, and if there is, that'll be a big surprise. Only OCs there are here. and if Perth is trying to establish an OC, like, don't be stupid. Use your fucking brains. Yo. Do you anything other than... Yo, Triggz, do you do anything other than gossip? Bro, this is what I mean. See people like this bloke who just wrote that? Like, get a life, bro. You know, like, I'm doing something good with my life, trying to give back, and then you get on here and spoil it with your little stupid comments. Like, do you do anything but get on here and try to bring people down? Like, get off your fucking fake page and go help your family instead of talking rubbish. That's all you do is talk rubbish. And I'm telling you, out of the thousands of people that come and go from my page, there's always just two that always drop in and do stupid comments, you know? And I don't care. And like I said to you guys, all you, to those idiots that want to get on here and say stupid comments, direct it to my inbox, yeah? I'm happy to cop it. But no one on my platform wants to see that rubbish. You're just trying to friggin' make a name for yourself off my platform. Just inbox me privately and I'll cop it on the chin, all good. You can swear at me all you want. User, appreciate you. DJ Noise, love ya. Hey, DJ Noise, Uzo, look, your music's been on my background for the last 2 hours. That's how much I love your music, brother. For all of you who don't know, for the last 2 hours I've been on live, it's been DJ Music's mixes that's been in my background. That's how much I love this guy's music and his mixes, his mixes. How many? Michael, oh shit. Hey, you know what? I'm gonna tell you a quick story. It's a funny story about a guy named Langy from Newcastle, yeah? He's an old school boy. He's a machine fighter, Langy. I think it's Adam Langy. I was with his younger brother. They're Newcastle boys, yeah? Anyway, we're at Goulburn and we're playing cricket, and our cricket bat was a chessboard. Thank you, Philos. So I had a chessboard and we were using it as a cricket bat. Okay, appreciate you. And we had a tennis ball, yeah? Long story short, I hit the ball when it got bowled to me, and it went over the fence and it bounced towards the screws, yeah? And Adam Langy, JM, appreciate you. He's the funniest bloke, but he's a friggin' machine. Like, he's actually a very good fighter. Anyway, Adam walks over, dawdles over, and he's a big muscly guy. He's like, Chief, can you get us the tennis ball? And the screw chucked it over. Playing again, boom. I hit the ball over the freaking fence again. Adam walks over. Hey, Chief, you grab that tennis ball? The screw ignores him. Chief, can you get the tennis ball? We're playing a game here. So the screw dawdles over, grabs the tennis ball, and chucks it over to us, yeah? Playing again cricket, and then whack! I hit the ball again over the fence, and I'm like, fine. Everyone's looking at me, go, bro, that's the third time you've hit it over, yeah? The ball goes over and it starts bouncing, and there's 5 screws sitting down, yeah? They're doing nothing. Remember, these screws, they go to work every day, and all they got to do is lock the fences, the gates, and lock our cells. Like, very easy job when you're a screw, yeah, and you get paid good money. And the ball went bouncing, and then Adam yelled out, Chief, and you grab our tennis ball. And this is the 3rd time Adam's done it, yeah? And the screws are sitting there ignoring. Goes, Chief, and grab the friggin' tennis ball. Screws ignored him. Goes, Chief, are you deaf? And grab the tennis ball for us or what? And the screws kept sitting there, yeah? And I fucking couldn't stop laughing. When he goes, yeah, that's it. You're all on the list. Every single one of you, all on the list. Bro, I swear, every single islander in there just cracked up. I was holding the chessboard because I was batting, and I got that, I was holding my stomach, and we were all laughing so much that the screw started laughing, and then the screw walked over and grabbed our tennis ball and gave it back. I swear, Langy made us all laugh a lot of times inside prison, but that one time was the best because the screws actually joined in with the laughter. Yeah, he's the man, Adam Langy. Oh, bro, please don't ask me what my favorite song is to train. Every single one of the boys inside prison hate what I listen to when it comes to training, yeah? So I always got earphones in when I'm training, and there's a reason why. It's because I love songs. I love like Adele, Nora Jones, Mariah Carey. So I would never play my music when we're training. I would always let the boys play their rap music because there's more of them. It's just me. I'm the only one that loves love songs, you know. And I remember one of the boys named far out, I forget his name. One of the younger boys, Tongan boys. I said to him, "Hey, can you hold on to my CD player while I go train?" And this is my second training for the day. As I went to train with the boys, I'd already did my training, so I went to train with the boys, and we're pumping push-ups, and I turned around, and the Tongan guy was full laughing. And then when I stood up, he goes, "Uso," and I go, "Yo." He goes, "Man, I just seen you doing hard out training for 40 minutes, yeah?" And I go, "Yeah." And he goes, "Were you listening to Mariah Carey that whole time?" And I said, "Yeah." And he goes, "Bro, you're a sick guy, bro." He goes, "How the hell do you train to love songs?" Hey, it is what it is with Triggz. Oh no, don't bring up Tony Braxton. Oh man. NZ gangs and Oz gangs. Look, there's a really big difference between NZ gangs and Oz gangs. NZ gangs, they're as violent as they get. Australian gangs, they're trying to imitate America, so they do go hard out. But the difference between Oz and New Zealand gangs is New Zealand is very behind. So a lot of the crimes that happen in Australia, when they bring it to New Zealand gangs are like, "Oh, frig, where did you learn that from?" But it's been happening in Australia a lot. So a lot of the 501s that got deported, thank you, no comment. They started making big money when they got to New Zealand, the 501 gangs. And that's because all the crime that they were doing here in Australia, New Zealand gangs didn't know about it, you know? Like, obviously, like I said, New Zealand gangs, they're very strong. You don't F around with them. And obviously, they are very smart. I know a few New Zealand gangs who make big money, you know? But when it comes to like crime, Australian gangs far out. They're on another level. I've seen it with my own eyes because I've been in and amongst it, yeah. And Australian gangs make big money. And for those of you who don't know, in New Zealand, drugs around the world, it costs way more in Australia. So that's the reason why a lot of gangs around the world try to send it here, you know. And well, it is what it is. Like, it's like a cat and mouse game with the cops and the gangs, you know. Gangs are trying to do what they got to do, and the cops are doing their jobs to the best of their ability. You know what's effed up is seeing lawyers, cops, screws when they're on the UGDREs. It's just funny to me, you know, because they're supposed to be law-abiding citizens, and these guys actually go party. Like, there's stories that I know of from lawyers, yeah, where they have big, massive parties, and all these rocks, appreciate you, is what they party on. Judges, lawyers, barristers, QCs, they're all partying on this. I swear, awful spun out. I'll tell you, there's another story, yeah? There's these two boys. They took out two lawyers. Like, it wasn't a date. They just went out and had fun, yeah? They went and ate and whatnot. After that, they went and partied. Everyone was on the alcohol, and they got a bit drunk. Then the two female lawyers told the two boys that were taken out. And mind you, these two guys were two criminals. These two female lawyers represented these two before, yeah? So all four of them finished partying with alcohol and whatnot, and then they told the two guys, "Hey, let's go back to a hotel and let's party on this, yeah?" And then the two guys were like, "Oh, yeah. but we got no money. You just got any money? These are two blokes who act like they're the biggest gangsters in Australia, yeah? But when the two female lawyers asked them to go get this for them, they said they had no money. So they asked the two lawyer girls for money. And the two lawyer girls were so embarrassed that they told the other two guys, oh, nah, you know what? Don't worry about it. We're going to go home. Marlo gangster. Dickheads, bro. You know what? I'm going to fucking release the name of these two dumb cunts in about a week or two, yeah? Bruh, we get all freaking gangster and then Nick Minute. And that's what I'm saying to you, is like, it's beyond me how these law-abiding citizens, they want to work jobs like being a lawyer, being cops, and then they full get on it and that. And I'm like, yeah, all right. There's bad and good in every nationality, in every job, but you wouldn't expect it, you know. But I grew up, Jay, appreciate you. I grew up thinking that that cops were always tops, you know, and that's what we were taught when we were young. And then coming through, like, I never knew that corruption was a real thing, you know, until it happened to me. Thank you, my man. Appreciate you. Dude, what about Tongan gangs, bro? There's so many Tongan gangs, far out. Like, who do you want to know about? Yeah, Burwood Blues, they came before UTB. There's Burwood Blues, then UTB, and then you had all the other Tongan gangs that came after them. For example, those Layla Park Crip boys. There was so much like wannabe American gangs, including myself. But I wasn't trying to be American, I was just being an idiot. But yeah, there's so many gangs that have come and gone. Like useless gangs. Have a look at all the gangs from back then. Like, I don't even want to talk about them because all the gangs I knew from the past, they're all gone. There's no more. You know what? I don't even want to bring up the names of these gangs, but all I'm going to say is, whatever gangs you just want to talk about that's from the past, have a think about it. They don't exist anymore. Why? Disloyalty, you know, unreliable, not sincere whatsoever, and they all turned on each other. And if they didn't turn on each other, they all walked away from each other because they wanted to live better lives. Were you around at the time of 5T? I was around at the when 5T was around, but I wasn't. That's not my era. That's the era before me. When the gang leader of 5T got. It was my mum that told me about it. I was still a little shit in high school. SOS. So, SOS in America is Crips. SOS in Samoa, New Zealand, and Australia, when I was coming through, were all Bloods. That didn't really make sense. And you know what didn't make any sense to me as well is the fact that the Tongan flag was red, full red, and they were repping Crips, which is all blue. And then the Samoan flag was red with a bit of blue in it. But they were representing Bloods, but there was blue in their flag, you know. So it's a bit weird for me. I didn't know. That's how I realized. Nat, appreciate you. That's how I realized that the gangs that were coming up in my time, Bloods and Crips, just imitating stuff that they saw on TV. That's what I was doing. I was imitating stuff that I saw on TV. Just a wannabe gangster when I was growing up as a kid. TLC is the biggest Islander gang that came through prison. You know, look, you can talk all the itchy you want about TLC for those people who hate against TLC, but let me tell you something. If it wasn't for TLC, none of the Islanders today would have a secure place in prison. Doggo, appreciate you. Like, they were the ones that fought for our right to walk in prison, because a lot of Islanders were getting jumped back in the 90s, not because they couldn't handle it, but because they were always alone. There wasn't much Islanders in prisons back in the early 90s. The Aussies ran it first, and then that's when the Kuris came out, because obviously they had the numbers. Doggo, appreciate you. That's why I tell it how it is. when people try to hate and say that Triggz and the Lebos never ran together or they were never aligned. What do you mean you were never aligned? Like, mate, the Triggz were running it, yeah? And the only reason why Lebos were allowed to go into their prisons was because they were aligned. That's the reason why. If you weren't aligned with the Triggz, then you wouldn't be allowed in their prisons. You know, the Lebos are very, very good at what they do. They know how to smuggle mobile phones, UGDRs, inside prisons. Lebos back then were the go-to people when it came to UGDRs, mobile phones, and all that stuff. Yeah. One sec, guys. It's far out. My battery's about to die. Let me just put the charger on. Booze, back in action. So yeah, and so the Triggz boys, as strong as the Triggz boys were, their weakness was UGDRs. Yeah. So this is how the Lebos used to use the Triggz boys. They'll give them UGDRs and they'll say to them, "Chop that bloke." That's how it worked. Yeah. This is the same as the Asians. The weakness for the Islanders was UGDRs. So as soon as the Asian boys needed someone to be op-chain, they'll be like, "Here," to the Islander boys, and the Islander boys would attack. The only good thing about the Islanders back then is they had Moses as the leader. So Moses stopped the Islander boys from doing rubbish work for the Asian boys. So Moses was the one who put a stop to it and said, "Listen, from now on in, we put in our own work, but we are still aligned with the Asians. So if they go to war, we go to war. If we go to war, they'll back us all the way." Like, Asians and Islanders were always very, very close, you know. And for people who don't know the politics, it's because they were not in the main when it was going off. And the Lebos were getting backed from the Triggz boys. The Triggz boys weren't backing up the Lebo boys, because they were friends. They were backing up the Lebo boys because the Lebo boys were giving them UGDRs. That's why, you know. And the Triggz boys were willing to put in the muscle work because the only way they could get UGDRs was from the Lebo boys. That's what you call an alliance, you know. You're feeding the muscle, and the muscle is willing to go above and beyond for you. An alliance, yeah? And when the Triggz had the power and they were running all the prisons, not all the prisons, but like their prisons, the Lebos couldn't go there. But because they were the ones that had the UGDRs and they knew how to smuggle mobile phones and all that, the Triggz were like, "All right, you know what? Lebos can come there, or Middle Eastern boys can come to our prisons, but Islanders get effed. Asians get effed," you know? And then obviously the Fijians aligned with the Triggz and the Fijians were allowed to get there. But if you were Vietnamese, Māori, Samoan, Tongan, yous were getting chopped. Chinese were allowed to go into the Triggz prisons. Lebos, Middle Eastern boys were allowed to go into the Triggz prison, and Fijian boys. These are the only nationalities that were allowed to go to Triggz prisons, but because the Triggz boys allowed them to come in. So the Triggz aligned themselves with these nationalities. Birds, appreciate you. And when they aligned themselves with this, it was mutual respect. Why? Because this is what the Triggz need: UGDRs, money, and mobile phones. They don't know how to do this stuff. Like, their thing is, they're country boys, they're city boys, and it's very rare for them to get visitors that can help them swindle moves. Middle Eastern boys, they always get love from their boys, from their families, everyone. They, you know, like Middle Eastern people, they work together to do what needs to be done. That's how close-knit they are. And that's why I'm saying, when I'm saying that Triggz and Lebos were aligned, it's because they were. If they weren't, Lebos would never be allowed to go into the Triggz jails, you know. The Triggz had something to offer: our prison and our muscle. The Lebos had something to offer: mobile phones, UGDRs, and whatever else that they could want inside prison. Because remember, like, the Triggz boys come from broken homes and poverty, but the Lebo boys, they make money. They know how to make money. They know how to swindle moves. They're good at what they do. So it was a very good alliance for the Lebanese and the Triggz boys. You know, I was in and amongst everything, so I know it inside out. I'm not sitting here trying to tell you stories that I heard. I was there when it was happening. You know, that's why I keep telling you, everyone that went to Supermax, STG, IVO. These are all programs for high-profile inmates, yeah? This was not prison, you know? Like, when you're inside there, you get treated like a little kid, like a kindergarten kid, yeah? But the main, where the war was happening, Blue, appreciate you. This is real prison, you know, when you're in the main. That's why when I was in Supermax, I was the only person there trying to get out of Supermax. Turtle, appreciate you. Yeah, I was ringing the official visitor, I was ringing the ombudsman, and I was telling them all, country, appreciate you. I was even telling the commissioner, I am being held unjustly in Supermax and I want out now. Everyone that was in Supermax, in STG, in IVO, they were all proud to be in there. You know why? Because when you're in there, you're considered high profile. When you're in there, you're considered extreme high security. So they loved the status, you know? Not only did they love the status, they loved going in the forward drives. DVD, appreciate you. When you're an inmate inside prison, you're always all inmates go in trucks, so they go together. It's hot, it stinks, it's rubbish. But when you're an extreme high security inmate or high profile, they take you in a forward drive. You know, so you're a cool dude, you know. When you're walking, you're in orange overalls, you're the only one in orange overalls, and you're in shackles, so you walk like you're a machine, you know, you're hectic, you're a gangster. I'm telling you how it is. When you were in the main, that's where the real war was going on. When you were in those programs, there was no war going in there. It was just all friggin' people, all boys that were just going off at each other from friggin' cells. They appreciate you. And you like see a fight once every friggin' 4 months. Like, you can't do nothing because you're stuck in cells, you know, and you get treated like a cute little kindergarten kid. Say thank you, say please. And if you don't, you get knocked back to level 1. You got to start all over again. For those who are trying to explain war stories and jail shit, yes, you've been there. Yes, you were in and amongst it, but you don't understand. Like, trust me, I was there when all this was happening. That's why I explain it, because I'm not trying to say that any of your stories, like there's about 6 boys that I counted now that do jail stories, yeah, on Instagram. Like, there's probably 2 of them who just talk so much rubbish. 2 of them were in protection, so they shouldn't even be on this platform, yeah. But the other 4, yeah, they did jail time, and they survived their jail time. But when they're telling certain stories, they're not understanding like what was actually happening, because they weren't in and amongst it. They were coming and going from Segro, or they were coming and going from the high-profile prisons, yeah? Let me tell you something. Like, the Kuri boys, they weren't to be effed with inside prison. And if they wanted, like, they could have just kept the prisons to themselves and told everyone, get effed, you aren't coming in here. But they didn't do that, because they were smart. As much as you can call Kuri boys, like, junkies or whatever, at the end of the day, they knew, the Kuri boys, we have to have an alliance with the Lebo boys, because they're the ones that swindle moves. Wills, appreciate you. They're the smart ones. The Lebos are smart. That's what they are, you know. We have to build a relationship with the Fijian boys, because why? The Fijian boys were against the Islanders now, and the Kuris have always been against the Islanders. So, bang. Saying I appreciate you. They aligned themselves with the Fijians. And then the Chinese came. Guess what? Again, the Kuri boys are smart, because you know why? There's Chinese and there's Vietnamese. Vietnamese are the violent ones. The Chinese are the smart ones that make money. So what did the Kuri boys say? I appreciate you. They said, F you to the Viets, because they were the ones that were aligned with the Islanders and they were going to war all the time. But the Chinese boys, they allowed them to come into their prisons. So all the Chinese that were coming into prisons, they were given the freedom to come into Kuri prisons. And guess what happened? Courts, appreciate you. Whenever the Kuri boys needed something, the Chinese boys offered it to them or gave it to them on a platter. Because why would the Chinese boys want to stay with the Viet boys? I was there 3 times when the Viet boys stomped on the Chinese boys' heads and extorted them for money inside Park Lee prison. Like, bro, I was there when $1.5 million was handed over to the Viet gangs after they jumped on a Chinese guy's head. So that's the reason why the Chinese decided, you know what, we're getting away from this Asian community that they're trying to build, and we want to go do our own thing. So a lot of the Chinese boys ended up going to Lithgow and Bathurst, and the Koori boys were more than happy to give them, and that was their excuse to the Koori boys. As soon as they walked in, they were like, no, we Chinese, we're not Vietnamese, we Chinese. So yeah, there you go. 100% money talks, brother. You know, you're not wrong, brother. Mate, when you're inside prison and you're swindling moves, there's two things that is going to happen. You're either going to be the go-to guy in prison, or you're going to get your head stomped on because they want to take what you got. You have to know how to make moves inside prisons. It's not just about knowing how to bring things in, it's knowing who you got to align yourself with. And that's what the Lebo guys did. They aligned themselves with the Koori boys because they could use the Koori boys to do their dirty work. Hey, there's nothing wrong with that, you know? So, there's my little rant for the day. Bro, what the hell? It's 5:44. How long have I been freaking going live, bro? What the? Mate, I was supposed to be getting a bit of rest before I go to my parents' house. I'll be sitting on freaking live the whole time. The last hour story, bro. The last hour, like, mate, they're ruthless boys. It's as simple as that. A lot of stories about those boys. You missed out. I just finished talking about Nach. I just finished talking about Mick Kanan as well. Yeah, Tomasi was a machine if you're talking about the Fijian one. Any Indians? But look, I did meet two Indians. One of them was named Singh. He used to roll with the Asian boys on the outside, but on the inside he rolled with a lot of Islander boys as well. He was in and amongst stuff that wars that the Islanders were in, and yeah, he stood his ground. But there was also another Indian guy. Oh, I don't know if I'm allowed to tell this story, but this Indian guy, how do I say it without getting banned? Like his wife got from him. Long story short, he used a lawnmower. Yeah, that was the other one. I'm not going to talk more about him, but the reason why I remember him clearly is because he had a massive upper body, full muscly. Bro, I don't know if this guy took steroids on the outside or not, but mate, freaking had a massive muscly upper body, this Indian guy. But his legs were like this, full chicken legs. I swear, I could have snapped his chicken legs. Sorry. Appreciate you, man. Yeah, I spoke about Big LB a lot on Instagram, and yeah, he's a very, very loving brother. Big LB, well, I would consider him one of the older boys, like Nance. Very loving towards the younger generation. I was their younger boys. Yes, appreciate you. Did I know who? So, yeah, rest in peace, LB, 100%. Oh, how are you, niece? How was church? Sorry, I missed church. Reynold Glover, yeah. There'll be a big story about Reynold Glover soon. Fijian sponge. You know Fijian sponge? No. Nah, I never heard of Fijian sponge. Sorry, bro. Yeah, the church. Well, gee, appreciate you, my man. Fijian Rocco. I didn't know Rocco. If you're talking about the Rocco that's locked up now, no, I didn't know him at all. But he is in there now, and guess what? He's very, very upset that he's locked up right now and no one's helping him. For those of his closest that were there, Chadwick, when he was willing to go above and beyond. Yeah, before I got out, that's all I kept hearing. He was very upset that his closest weren't going above and beyond for him. Sorry. Appreciate you, Niece. Love ya. Thoughts on import? You know. Yep. Stories of Fight Crime is coming soon, my man. Best to you. Appreciate you, my brother. Thank you very much. Broncos, because they're the underdogs. I don't go for any NRL game, but yeah, tonight will be Broncos. Carl Little. That's a name. He's another Kuri that's he was in a fight. And long story short, Carl Little got charged for Abu, appreciate you, because a screw got. I'm not going to explain it all, but he got charged for that, and he got many years for it while he's inside prison. And long story short, from what Carl Little said is, yeah, he did throw punches, he did attack back when the screws tried to jump him, but that screw didn't die from his punch. He that happened to him because of his heart problems, you know. Anyway, it's something that Carl's going to still going to court for now, Mary. But all I can say is, when I met him, he was a gentleman, and I could tell he was very well respected from his past. Yeah, open heart surgery, huh? Bill Elmerdine, yeah. You know what? I met Bill Elmerdine at Goulburn, and he was a good kid, eh? Like I really liked him a lot. But yeah, I didn't get to know him well, but my brothers get along with him very, very well. They know him very good because they were all together at Long Bay Prison. But as for me, myself, I didn't really know him that well, but he was a gentleman when I met him. Omar Helcher, I've never crossed paths with Omar. I've been in Segura when he was there, but we didn't really chat. I was all the way on the other side, he was on the other side. I just know Bill Helcher very well, but Omar Helcher, I was there when he was in Supermax and at Silverwater Segura. But his brother I know very well. His brother was a gentleman. The podcast is coming out very soon. Like, it's actually already been done. Just got to put it together. Oh, I don't want to talk about that guy. That's guy's bad news. Do you know 55? No, sorry, I don't know 55. 212 Heat is my brother, and yes, 212 Heat was with Bill Elmerdine, and as my younger brother Skivvy as well. They were all together at Long Bay Prison. Chucky, appreciate you, my man. All right, in 9 minutes is gonna be 6 p.m. so I'm gonna cut off in 9 minutes, guys. Wow, you are the best. Thanks for hanging out with me. My wife thought I was down here sleeping. She comes down and I'm talking rubbish on here. Hey, but you know what? To all you guys